right on top of it. I didn't think he was going to be able to get it turned.
Chargers versus Cowboys. Chargers looked very good at the start. Drove the ball. Derius Davis, first play of the game, scores a touchdown. Semi Fehoko, long yard pass from stick to Fehoko, scores a touchdown. Besides that, the production wasn't all that great. Just going off the stats, Chargers had 308 total yards compared to Cowboys 558. Passing 170, Cowboys 312. Rushing 138, Cowboys 248. Yards per play 6.3, Cowboys 6.0. So we were more efficient. Obviously, those long plays are going to distort that a little bit. First downs 12, they had 35. Third down efficiency, we were 5 for 13. They were 8 for 17. Fourth down, they were 2 for 2. Total plays 49, they had 93. Sacks allowed, we allowed 2, they allowed 3. Punts 6, they had 2 punts. Penalties, we had 5 for 33 yards, they had 8 for 68. Fumbles lost, they lost 1, we lost 0. We had 1 interception thrown, they had 5 interceptions thrown. Time of possession was 19 and theirs was 40. So if you were just to look at the stats and not see how many interceptions were thrown, you would say we probably lost this game. But the defense came up with all those turnovers. They came up with 6 turnovers. I don't know how you don't win that game with that many turnovers. Easton Stick was 12 for 29, 187 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. I mean, those aren't terrible stats for a backup. That's not mentioning what he did with his legs. He was 4 carries for 17 yards and an average of 4.2. You can say what you want about Easton Stick, but the fact of the matter is he helped the team score. The offense scored 2 touchdowns. I think the defense scored 2. So Semi was 2 for 85. Cornelius was 3 for 34. Gill 1 for 18. Jarrett 1 for 12. Cameron Dicker was 2 for 2. Longest was 48. J.K. Scott had an average of 50 yards punting the ball, and in the 20 he had 2. Defensively, Tony Jefferson had 11 tackles, 3 assists, 1 sack, 1 interception. Robert Kennedy had 4 tackles, 3 assists, 1 interception. Chris Collins 4 tackles, 1 assist, 1 sack. Akeem Dent 4 tackles. Frank Ginda 4 tackles. Cam Hart 3 tackles. Trammell Morris-Bash had an interception for a touchdown. I would say the defense was definitely the highlight of the game. I don't know how you don't say that, but one thing that was very concerning was how the defensive interior was getting pushed around. I know Jesse Minter does not feel great about that area. At one point, he had 3 defensive tackles on the field, and they were still getting pushed back 5 yards. Really got exploited. The press conference from Jim Harbaugh seemed very solemn. He didn't seem happy despite winning the game. I don't know if he's the one that's trying to help Rice make the team, but I don't see how Rice makes the team considering just some of the drops he had. And I mean, there was plenty of opportunities. Yeah, there were some bad passes, but there was one that hit him in the hands, and that's the second game where that has happened. Much rather have Cornelius Johnson than Brendan Rice. Definitely Fehoko. There's a lot of great plays by the defensive backs coming off the edge. Tony Jefferson made a day doing that. Some other guys had some great sacks and plays. Definitely seemed like rush-wise, the Chargers were effective rushing the ball, passing the ball, however, not terribly effective. Kind of stereotypical of Greg Roman, and hope that is not the case. I doubt it is with Justin Herbert, but I guess at the end of the day, as long as your offense is effective and can put up points, then that's all that really matters. To be honest, I could care less who the backup quarterback is as long as Justin Herbert never comes off the field, but he does have that injury that is prevalent, and it wouldn't be wise to turn a blind eye to the fact that he's injured and that there's a possibility that could be a problem down the road. So you probably want to make sure you have a good backup that can come in and play. And as much as Greg Roman's offense doesn't favor a passing quarterback, it certainly favors a quarterback that can run the ball, and Easton Stick definitely has some wheels. So at this point, I think he's more effective than Luis Perez, but Luis Perez seems like he could be good in the pocket, just doesn't have that element of rushing as a quarterback. So if they don't like either of those two, then I would go look to see if there's another great RPO quarterback that they can get off the market, like a Joe Milton or a big quarterback like that doesn't happen to make the team. But I don't know if there's going to be someone who's much better than Easton Stick anyway. So I think overall, I think team's looking pretty good. I didn't see a whole lot of I didn't see the quarterback getting hit a whole lot or having to rush or make plays with their feet. Be interested to see who are the backup O-line for the team. And I think Derius Davis was on the shopping block, but he kind of acquitted himself with that runoff touchdown to the outside. Jim Harbaugh even said he didn't think he was going to make it around the corner, but he did. So being fortunate if he doesn't make the team. I think he definitely brings an element to the offense that you can't replicate. That his speed. I know they signed the other guy that has a really good speed too, so see what happens. But One thing that was kind of concerning was Junior Colson. Looked like he may have sustained a concussion, but it could have been just that he was tired and needed a break. I know he's been absent for practice, and that could certainly affect your endurance. But when he was on the field, it looked like he did a decent job. He definitely plays the pass very well. He definitely gets depth in his pass drop. However, I don't know how well he can do that with the defensive line we have, just kind of suspect. So that makes me feel like there's more prevalence should be put on the inside linebackers, because those guys are just they get injured if they can't. They're continually having to take on offensive linemen. But I'm glad we have a good core at the moment with Henley, Perryman, Colson. I think whoever that fourth linebacker is. I mean, we have Derwin. Obviously, he's great at the line of scrimmage. So Puna Ford and Tyre Tart. So those guys are reliable. I mean, the defense doesn't really seem like much of an issue, in my opinion. I think Jesse Minter has that on lock. My only concern is when we face the Chiefs, Mahomes is going to be great in that blitz pickup. So I think that's going to kind of make our blitzing ineffective, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on our secondary. But it'll be interesting to see how that gets worked out. Seems like Spagnuolo is really great at blitzing off the edge as well, and blitzing inside the offensive tackle, which seems to be effective against Mahomes if he can do it when he's not looking. Like he generally throws to the wide side of the field, so if you can do it to the short side of the field and effectively disguise it, that seems to be an effective way to get pressure on Mahomes. But with the way they spread the field, with Mahomes having the interior O-line that he does, and him being able to spread the field by throwing to the outside with Rashee Rice and some of the tight ends they have, Kelsey, that's going to be a hard game to stop. I think they score a lot of touchdowns off of explosive plays, and the way to beat them is to just make them play short passes, which is going to be a hard thing to watch, but sometimes patience is a game within itself, and the more you can be patient and the more you can bore the other team to death, catch them slipping, falling asleep, sometimes that could be the difference in winning or losing. So, but overall, I think the elevator's broken, but fighters are coming in.